What's up? It's Billy Briz, aka at Getting Bills on Twitter, joined by my man Brady, DFS by the numbers, and Sharpie, aka David, in the tank top, looking as Californian as ever. How are you guys doing today? Started off with Brady.
Doing pretty good, man. Ready to get through it, and then we have some fights tomorrow as well, and then football Sunday should be a good weekend.
Yeah, we're not even gonna get into the fights. This is only NFL talk. We get into the fights, this will turn into an MMA podcast very quickly. Sharpie, how you doing?
Doing good, my guy. Let's get to it. It's a beautiful Friday and got some good things going this weekend. So let's get to it.
Yeah, like NBA lock soon. But let's get into the first game of the slate: Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Cleveland 4-point favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers, over under 42.5. What are you guys looking at in this one? This one wasn't a one that I really had circled for this, so I'm kind of interested to see what you guys have to say. I'll start off with Brady.
Yeah, so there's two key pieces in this game for me. The first one's going to be Nick Chubb. Of course, we're not going to have any Kareem Hunt. Looks like Chubb's going to be good to go. Not the best matchup in the world, but they're going to give him a lot of carries. It looks like Chubb at a 6,800 without a Kareem Hunt just looks like a smash spot there. So I like Chubb quite a bit. And then also Deontay Johnson, 6,700 going against Cleveland. Cleveland's run defense is pretty good. Their pass defense is not so great. I think Johnson's in a great spot here. When he does play, he's pretty good, averaging about 19 DraftKings points per game. So those are two pieces I'm looking at, not looking to stack or anything like that, but Chubb on the Cleveland side and Johnson on the Pittsburgh side.
I kind of like that Chubb play, bro. I didn't even think about that. I kind of forgot about Kareem Hunt being out. That last was it last week's primetime game that the Cleveland Browns played Denver and Dearness Johnson was out there. That was good times, though. One person I was looking at, I kind of think Chase Claypool's due for a bounce back. Second half of season here, $6,500, $6,300. Juju Smith-Schuster's still out. I kind of like both receivers, Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. Sharpie, anything you're looking at this one from a prop perspective?
How did you not say Pat Fryermuth after all that good things that good man did to us, bro? Good old Fryermuth, bro. But let's be real. The Cleveland pass defense is not good. Big body wide receivers has been money for me versus them. Their bottom 5 versus touchdowns allowed passing. So I'd look towards a couple touchdown props from the Pittsburgh wide receivers, or maybe Big Ben over 1.5. Since he hasn't hit that number a lot, it'll probably be at some plus money. And I was talking with Hector about it. I think Dearness Johnson's earned a role, and he's going to earn that Hunt role. I still think he gets a good chunk of the reps, guys. So I don't know what he is DFS wise or prop wise yet, but he is going to be something I look at too.
Yeah, probably cheap. I would probably bump down Nick Chubb maybe if you have like an extreme projection on him. But let's go over to the second game: Carolina versus Atlanta. Atlanta 3-point favorites over the Carolina Panthers. This game is in Atlanta. Over under is 46.5. Brady always has a good read on the Falcons, so I'll kick it off to Brady first. Brady, what are you looking at in this one particularly? There's still some injuries lingering on both squads. Does anything really pop out to you?
Yeah, the only thing that sticks out to me is there's no Travis Kelce on the slate, so Pitts is the highest priced tight end. Pitts is finally doing nowadays what we expected him to do in like the early going when I was all over him. He had 26 DraftKings points in week 7. He had 29 in week 5. So looks like Pitts is finally getting it together. Speaking of getting it together, I think it could be the week. I mean, if Calvin Ridley, he needs to get going. I mean, it's not like he's doing bad. He's still averaging 14.2 DraftKings points. The worst game he's had all year was 10 DraftKings points. He's still getting a ton of targets, 10 last week, only 4 receptions. It's just crazy seeing Calvin Ridley at 6,600. So I'm going to keep playing him. I think that big game is coming very soon, and it might be this week.
Yeah, I definitely will agree with you on that one. You've been telling me on Calvin Ridley throughout the season. I do have some skeptical thoughts about Calvin Ridley, but man, 6,500. There's no skeptical thoughts about that price tag. I kind of like Chuba Hubbard in this spot a little bit, $6,000. He's one of the guys I was looking at in the mid range for GPPs, but not really too much I have circled in this one. Other games in the 1 o'clock slate that I kind of like a little bit more. Sharpie, anything you're looking at in this one?
Man, Calvin Ridley, you said it, bro. That was my biggest bet in Las Vegas last weekend, and boy, was I fucking burnt. God, did he look bad, bro? Damn, dude. Lost a lot of money on that Calvin Ridley kid. But like you said, he did have the targets, but his targets isn't what it was last year. They're not throwing it deep to him. They're throwing him like short, intermediate routes. So I might have to look towards his reception prop if I do want to play him. But there is a sneaky ass fucking factor that I found out like 3 weeks ago with the Falcons. Offensive coordinator has Cordell Patterson in his fantasy lineup, bro. Isn't that fucking weird? Because look who's now become the number one running back over there.
That explains the Cordell Patterson thing. I can't play Cordell Patterson, but man, he's been smashing.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think the Carolina has the second best passing yards wise, but I think it's faulty. I think that's competition based. I think Matt Ryan still passes on this team. So I think it's going to be a Matt Ryan, probably yardage type day for me.
All right. I like where your head's at for that one. Let's go over to Philadelphia. Philadelphia 3.5-point favorites over Big Show's Detroit Lions. The over-under here is 48.5. I'll kick it off with this one. Things I'm looking at in this one, I really like Jalen Hurts' price tag on DK this week. $7,200 seems a little bit too cheap. DeAndre Swift is actually kind of popping out to me. One thing that I saw that was pretty interesting this week was in the press conferences when they were talking to Jared Goff, he said that Khalif Raymond reminds him a lot of Cooper Kupp, and it kind of shown throughout the chemistry in the last couple of weeks. I kind of like him a little bit in Detroit, and on the Philadelphia side, I think Kenny Gainwell could definitely be sneaky this week without Miles Sanders in the lineup. I know the Eagles just signed Jordan Howard, and he'll get some work, but I think Kenny Gainwell is due for a big day here. Also, Dallas Goedert as well, $4,700 on DK stands out to me. But anything that I haven't said that you guys are looking at in this one?
Go ahead, Brady. No,
I think you said it all. I'm big on Hurts as well. Don't mind stacking him with Goddard, 4,700, running it back with a Swift, and like you said, Gainwell's in a great spot with Sanders out. So yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said.
Sharpie, from a prop perspective, is there anything that's really standing out to you? Because I haven't really looked at the props too much, so I'm kind of glad that you're on the show full leaf today.
man. Straight up, like, dude, you say everything fantasy wise, that prop wise, people though, like, we do the same thing, bro. Like, it's the Eagles, bro. They're the 29th versus the rush, and it's the freaking Lions who are 21st versus the rush. They both give up a crap ton of points. They both don't really play defense. The Eagles do play that cover too, so they're going to have a lot of underneath type stuff open. So this is probably a Hawkinson type day, or definitely a Swift day, but you'll probably get more value running Williams than Swift in a prop type market.
I think I'm going to think about, like, do I want to attack this game from a prop perspective? Do I want to attack this game from, like, a fantasy perspective? Because I think prop-wise, I think there's a little bit, like, it's kind of easy to kind of determine both sides of, like, where the ball's going to go, and there's probably going to be a lot of points scored in that game. And I think there could be a lot of points scored in this next game as well. LA Rams, 15.5-point favorites over the Houston Texans.
Hey, real quick, Billy.
Yes,
one of my bigger bets will be Gainwell, 67.5 rushing and receiving. That needs to be hammered, like you said. That is a smash spot. He is a breakout spot for him,
especially against this Detroit Lions defense that we've been attacking, I feel like, the whole entire year.
I just think he was already breaking into the starter limits, into his reps. Now it's his time to shine, bro. You've been preaching this kid forever.
These baby
show coming up.
These baby ass Eagles will be coming from behind. Believe that.
Right. That's why
baby
67.5. I'll get those receiving yards with that rushing receiving.
Lions over here. You guys look like a college football team, not an NFL.
Shout out to Fanduel. It's at -114 right now. Lock that one fucking in. Gainwell rushing receiving.
The biggest beef, but we're gonna get this one.
That's what I like to hear. But let's go over to this LA Rams. They are the 15.5-point favorites over the Houston Texans on the road, lane 15.5. That's the line tells you all you need to know here. 46.5 over under here. We're gonna kick it off to Brady. Brady, what are you looking at here on the Rams? Pretty interesting that Deshaun Jackson asked for a trade today. Could pop up some potential value because I remember Wednesday we were talking about there's not a lot of value on this slate. What are you looking at in this one?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me is potentially going back to Henderson. So Henderson definitely burned me bad last week. I know he burned a lot of people. I think he was like one of the highest owned projected players last week, and he was very high owned and rightfully so against the Lions. But, it's a same situation. They're really big favorites. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities here. I didn't like they threw the ball like 42, 41 times last week, only ran the ball 15 times with Henderson. But, going right back to him here, obviously a great matchup against Houston. So we'll see what happens. But I think Henderson's in another good spot. He's been doing really well the last few weeks. Just had an off week against the Lions of all teams, which is weird. And then also I don't mind stacking up the Rams here. We have Stafford, who's been looking phenomenal this year, and then also Cooper Kupp, who he's 9,000 now, but I still think he's in play. This guy's crazy. At least 10 targets in every single game. Great matchup against Houston. And if they are going to throw the ball 40 times, like Kupp's somebody that's going to go off once again. 40 points last week, 37 in week 6. It's hard to ignore Cooper Kupp, especially with Devontae Adams not on the slate.
Nah, I definitely will agree with you on that one. I think Darrell Henderson is going to be one of my core pieces this week. It'll be interesting to see who I'm going to run it back with. I feel like Brandon Cooks is an obvious option, but he might be the chalky option as well. Van Jefferson kind of popped out to me a little bit, $3,900 on DK. If you're looking at a receiver under 4K this week, $5,700 on Fanduel. Tyler Higbee as well. Maybe if you're looking for tournament play, you could do a lot worse on this slate. Sharpie, is there anything you're looking at from this perspective wise?
I love how Brady said it. Took the words right out of my mouth. Henderson let me down as well. And guess what? I'm going to double my bet up this week and take the over 80.5 rush yards versus this porous Texan team. I was scared last week of Jared Goff and them coming out and actually playing a game like that. I am not scared of Mills because Tyrod Taylor has been rolled out. I'm not afraid of that offense. They should win this game by 28 points. That means Henderson gets 15 to 20 touches bare minimum, and they're not offering me Sony Michel rush yards prop too because I want that as well because I just see the running backs just eating right now, guys. They're just going to eat. This team is trash that they're going against. They're bottom 5 versus the rush, bottom 2 in allowing touchdowns to running backs. You damn well I'm going to be on a Henderson anytime. It's just this is time for the running backs to eat.
I'm shocked that Darrell Henderson's anytime isn't like juiced to like minus 200 yet.
What is it?
I have no idea.
I'm about to pull it up while you talk.
I got it at minus 110. I bet the over like you are going to, Sharpie, over rushing yards and also anytime at minus 110.
Sweet. I'm going to go
I
look
feel
at the
like
anytime.
these next 2 back-to-back games as Sharpie pulls that up. Cincinnati versus the New York Jets. I feel like we've been really hammering the Darrell Henderson, Joe Mixon combo running backs in our player pools of recent. And I think I'm going to go back to the well this week again. $6,900 on DK, $7,600 on FanDuel. Seems like a really good price tag for Joe Mixon. I don't know if I'm going to get the Joe Burrow or not. Brady, what are you looking at in this game? Is there anything that stood out to you besides Joe Mixon in the Cincinnati Jets game?
Yeah, Joe Mixon definitely does stick out. I actually don't mind stacking up Burrow against this Jets defense. Jamar Chase, who's now 7,500, which is pretty crazy considering he opened up the year. He was like 4,800. Open up the year, he's now 7,500. So don't mind Chase. And then also T. Higgins, somebody else does stick out to me. Very cheap option to stack with, 5,200. He had 15 targets last week. Going to get a lot of targets. Maybe not a ton of upside, but the targets will be there. The reception should be there as well. So yeah, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Don't mind stacking them up. There are some other stacks that do like better. And then also, like you mentioned, Joe Mixon's pretty solid. But as far as the Jets side, not really much sticking out. I guess we see that Corey Davis is going to be doubtful, so maybe that opens up some things for Jamison Crowder, who's 4,800.
Oh, it really might be a Jamison Crowder day if Corey Davis is out.
Yeah, he's doubtful.
Wow, Brady, I like that one. Jamison Crowder, $5,600 on FanDuel, $4,800 on DK. Like we said, there's not a lot of value on the slate on Wednesday. There's going to be some stuff that opens up. If we definitely get Corey Davis out, I definitely will be slamming some Jamison Crowder in tournaments. I definitely think he can be a low and under 5K wide receiver option that you can get to. Sharpie. Darrell Henderson, anytime touchdown prop. You got it.
Nah, I can't bet it now. You guys got a great deal. I can't get less than minus 140, bro. They hate me, so good job. I don't like. But on this game, I gotta be sneaky, bro, because you don't think they're gonna adjust all these Bengal players. They're gonna look towards these. They're gonna juice the overs. So you gotta run like a guy like a Samaje P. Ryan. His rush yards over because they are going to be up, and the Jets are the 25th worst team versus the damn fucking rush. So Samaje P. Ryan's rush yards should be in the mid 18s to lower 20s, and that guy cashes. So we're gonna go sneaky back in the back door once they offer us that, because at this time of the year they're gonna have these numbers a little juiced.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. From a prop perspective, I'm definitely gonna have to sit down late tonight and really sort everything out because I feel like the books have definitely been getting sharp throughout the weeks. But let's go over to this Tennessee Indianapolis Colts game. I'm gonna let you guys break down this one because the over under is 51. Indianapolis Colts 2.5 point favorites. Won the popular betting games of the week this week. Not really too much that I'm looking at in this one. Julio is going to be officially out for this one, so I really like AJ Brown at $6,900 on DK and $7,600 on FanDuel. And obviously, what's a slate with the big dog on there and not having him in your player pool? $10,500 on FanDuel, $8,900 on DK. Thinks that is a little bit too cheap. But are you guys really looking at this game? Because the over under on this slate, it does grade out as one of the higher over unders. Brady, what are you looking at in this one?
You mentioned the two pieces, AJ Brown 6,900, Derrick Henry 8,900. I like them both. Yeah, I mean, last week I did not play much Henry, really any Henry at all, and it definitely worked out. I think I had like 16 points. But this is a game where I don't mind going to him depending on the ownership. If he is coming in a little bit lower owned, which it looked like that earlier in the week, I have not checked it recently, but yeah, don't mind getting to some Henry if I can't afford him. And then also, like you mentioned, Jones is going to be out. I think that does bump up AJ Brown quite a bit. So yeah, but looking at both of those, other than that, nothing really else sticks out. T.Y. Hilton's questionable. Have you heard anything if he's going to play or not?
Nah, that was one I was looking at. That's one probably that you look at in the morning or something like that. Maybe Zach Pascal flyer if T.Y. Hilton is out. Sharpie, what are you looking at this one from a prop perspective wise? Because at first I thought about playing Carson Wentz, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Stafford and Brady because that's what's been cashing for me, and just keep it like that.
You know what, dude? I think in a sneaky way, in a sneaky way today, because that's where I'm looking at. I gotta be very sneaky on this. This is a Marlon Mack showcase. It's the trade deadline. They're trying to freaking ship Marlon Mack out. They're trying to make Marlon. They're giving him some touches. This is his last game with the Indianapolis Colts, so I think they give him a few touches. And Carson Wentz, I don't think is a bad look at all, dude. I think his over 1.5 touchdowns is probably going to be the way I'll look on this. This is the 25th worst team versus the pass. And we know this team loves to run the ball, and they're going to play action. So that, and looking at the Westbrook props, receiving yards. So I think he catches one or two good deep balls right there.
All right, I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's go over to this Miami and Buffalo game, as I think this is the last 1 o'clock game. Nah, we got two more 1 o'clock games. Buffalo is 14.5 point favorites. The books this year have just been throwing out some college football lines for these NFL teams, but Buffalo 14.5 point home favorites, 48.5 over under. Potential precipitation in this one. Brady, what are you looking at in this one? This could be a very interesting game, price tag looking wise. Injury news wise, Dawson Knox is out for this one. That was the real big one, and I think Devontae Parker is back this week.
Yeah, so I mean it's a solid game to target. I think Josh Allen stacks is going to where I'm going to be looking at if anything here. Josh Allen at Diggs 8,100. You have Sanders there 5,400, Beasley 4,900. So I don't mind stacking up Allen with one or two of those options in terms of wide receiver. Like you said, Knox is going to be out, but so that makes Sweeney an interesting option. He's 2,900. Should get some run there. He's cheap. We'll see what happens there. And like you mentioned, Parker's going to be back. I don't like that for guys like Waddle. I think you could still go back to Gesicki 5,000. He's been looking really good. But yeah, Waddle's somebody that I can't get this guy right. Whenever I play him, he doesn't do good. Whenever I don't play him, the guy scores 29 DraftKings points. So we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, I'm mostly on the Bills side here. Josh Allen stacked with Diggs, Sanders, and Beasley mixing and matching.
Yeah, I think I might play if I'm playing some cash this week. I haven't made that decision yet, but I think I'm gonna play some Nugget Allen today. Wow, that sounded weird. I'm gonna play some Nugget Josh Allen in some lineups, and his FanDuel price tag for Stephon Diggs is way too cheap. $7,300 for Stephon Diggs on FanDuel seems like a core play on this weekend slate. But Sharpie, what are you looking at in this Miami and Buffalo divisional game? You are muted, by the way.
I was probably muted because I was going to smoke a bong load and I didn't want to freaking in the middle of it. But
coming up in a little bit.
Let's go, though. We got I'm betting this. Josh Allen over 2.5 touchdowns plus 130, guys. Miami freaking sucks versus the pass. Did you not see what Matt Ryan did last week, dude. It was just I don't want to take Allen's yards, even though it is only at 283, because if it is a blowout, I am scared of that. But it should be a blowout. Back in the Pub Sports Radio Discord, if you ain't following already, you should be back there already. Smash the like, guys, if you haven't. But talking to Hector and Josh Allen has 16 red zone carries. Moss has 17. That's pretty
Yeah, I
damn
was thinking
freaking
about
crazy.
that anytime touchdown too.
So that's definitely something worth looking at right there, dude. Like that, like he is holding on to the ball in the end zone. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, Josh Allen has really good historical splits versus Miami. I remember we were talking about that early on in the season, and he smashed again. But let's talk about this last game. I don't think we're going to have a lot in this one. San Francisco's taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. San Francisco's 3.5-point road favorites. What are you guys looking at in this one? Debo, and that's it, right?
San Francisco versus Chicago, right?
Chicago.
Bro, I was going to say, whoa, bro, like I'm freaking blown away.
You know, a lot of C's and EV and OVs this week. It's a lot of names this week. A lot of names. I meant to say San Francisco 3.5-point favorites versus the Chicago Bears. What are you guys looking at in this one?
Nothing really. I mean, it's just crazy how cheap is Robinson going to get? I mean, he's 4,900. He's just gonna keep getting priced down farther and farther. So that's pretty crazy there. We'll see how cheap he does get, but I can't play him. No matter how crazy that does look. Yeah, it's Samuel or pass. Nothing really sticks out in this game.
Yeah, Samuel or pass for me. Sharpie, what are you looking at for this one? Anything from a betting perspective?
Man, as long as Montgomery's out, it's a Herbert, guys. Like this is
Damian
the Niners.
Williams is back this week though, off the COVID IR.
I think Herbert's earned himself the fucking starting job. Like, remember when we were on that game and we had Williams? By
Herbert.
By the halftime, we needed 9 yards from Williams, bro. By fourth quarter, we were stressing that 9 yards. Like, we're like, what the fuck? Herbert's in the game now. Like, oh my god.
Timeshare this week though, and the over under 39.5. I don't want to be fucking around with this game.
I'm definitely gonna get me some Herbert rushing and receiving props together. So I'm gonna think that they're gonna ride this bell cow. He's shown that he's nothing but a bell cow.
Okay, before we get into the 4 o'clock slate of games, shouts to the sponsors over at Manscaped. And when you're in the San Antonio area, make sure you visit Southtown 101. Olaf. I think the first game out of the 4 o'clock one is Jacksonville versus Seattle. What are you guys looking at in this one? I'll kick it over to Brady first.
Chenault. I mean, Chenault's interesting. You got, of course, no Chark, but that's it, man. Chenault or pass. I don't really see anything that sticks out. Nothing from the tight ends. Nothing from the. I guess Robinson's interesting, 6,600, but this is a game I was
looking at him too, Brady. I was looking at James Robinson too. I'm not gonna lie. $6,600, considering that he's $8,200 on Fanduel, seems like somewhat of a value on DraftKings.
Yeah, I think you can go to him. I mean, Seattle has given up the second most DraftKings points to opposing running backs. I think he's fun.
Sharpie, anything you're looking at this game? Because this seems like a pass game for me. Besides Robinson, Chenault, and Everett.
Well, guess what? I didn't pass. I'm betting Collins over 57.5 rushing yards, guys. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They can't stop nobody. They're going to pound Collins, and Collins is going to eat. Robinson, You guys brought that up. I'm going to go look into that too. I'm going to have to play his rushing receiving yards because the Seattle Seahawks the last 2 weeks have shut down Harris and Kamara on the ground, but they have Ayton receiving wise. So I've got to look towards the receiving side on them.
Their linebackers have not been covering shit, man. They look good in that last primetime game, though. But let's go over to this New England and LA Chargers game. LA Chargers 4-point favorites over the visiting New England Patriots. Over under here is 49.5. I'm going to kick this one down to Sharpie first since he is the Chargers fan and the San Diego resident. Sharpie, what are you looking at here in this New England and San Diego? I keep on calling him San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers game.
Man, I was going to pull it up, but it hasn't popped up yet. So it's Damian Harris season, guys. I don't know what his rush prop is, but he's gonna hit over 100 yards. He might hit 150 yards. Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches in the damn world. He understands what can I do to help my rookie quarterback? Run the fucking ball. Oh, look who we got here. The worst freaking team versus the rush. The LA Chargers, soon to be San Diego Chargers again, because nobody wants them in LA either, guys. So come back home, the puppy. This is Damian Harris' crush spot, guys. They're going to. I see 25 carries for him as long as they keep the game manageable.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Brady, what are you looking at this one from a daily fantasy perspective?
Yeah, I hope Sharpie's right. I have Harris on my fantasy team. I need to get back in the win column after an L last week. But yeah, Harris is fine for sure. On the Chargers side, though, I think you can go to Eckler. I think Eckler's always in play. Lots of reception upside. And then also Keenan Allen. This is more of a cash play for me. Keenan Allen doesn't seem to have a ton of upside, but he's always good for 8, 9, 10 targets. He's always good for a bunch of receptions as well, and he's cheap. So I'm looking at Keenan Allen for cash.
This could be a sneaky stack with a Herbert to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams bringing it back with Damian Harris. I kind of like this game sneakily. Big fan of Hunter Henry, $4,200 on DK, $5,500. It's one of the only tight ends you'll probably see us talk about this week until we get into the Washington Redskins game. Yeah, the Redskins, not the football team. But let's talk about this Tampa Bay versus New Orleans game. Tampa Bay is 4.5-point favorites on the road against New Orleans. Over under here is 49.5. My favorite game of the slate. What are you guys looking at for this one? I'll kick it over to Brady first.
Yeah, so why not just go right back and play Mike Evans, and why not go right back and play Chris Godwin? I mean, Brown's not playing; they're both way too cheap. So yeah, gonna load up on the Evans and the Godwin, and that's about it. Kamara on the Saints side is good as well. But yeah, I'm really interested in Evans and Godwin. I like them both.
Yeah, I agree with you. Cover boy of the video was Tom Brady, and that is because I'm going to play a lot of Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford. I'm just not going to overthink it this week. I ran a 5 max. I actually sent it to Big Show, man, and that was like hashtagging Tom Brady we trust ? And he was like, yeah, I kind of guess so. Fuck the weather, right? And I was like, yeah, man, let's get it, man. And, I feel like that's the way you've been cashing on these slates has been playing Stafford and Brady and a lot of the Rams and Tampa Bay players. So I'm not going to overthink it this week. Maybe Marquez Callaway, $5,400, $5,900. Callaway won the preseason darlings. Haven't really shown up throughout the season this year. Maybe Adam Troutman if you're really getting deep diving in this one. But I think I'm just going to play the surface level plays like Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Godwin, Kamara. Sharpie, what are you looking at this one from a prop perspective?
BetMGM has him at anytime touchdown for Fournette plus 105, guys. The last 3 weeks, he scored a touchdown every game since he's become the number 1 running back. Fournette anytime touchdown sounds good to me. Last week, he didn't hit his receiving prop for the first time in 7 weeks, guys. So he's now 6 out of 7 to his receiving prop. So we're going to get a better number because he missed it. So I'm going to have to jump on his receiving prop over 24.5 minus 114 as well.
I like it, Sharpie. I like it. That's why we like having you on the show. Getting into the props already before we even hit Sunday. Got to get that line value in. But last game of the slate and the last game of the video here, Washington football team is taking on the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos home favorites, 3.5-point favorites. Over under here is 45.5. Does this game catch any interest for you guys? Because sneakily, there is some sneaky spots in this game. What are you guys looking at for this one? I'll kick it over to Brady first.
Is one of those sneaky spots Sutton by chance?
Yes, sir. He is one of the players I have written down here.
Yeah, Sutton's in a good spot. Jerry Judy is. Did they say he's playing yet? I haven't heard anything.
I heard that on Twitter, and then I looked on DraftKings and Fanduel, and it definitely said he was out.
Yeah, it looks like he's had some soreness, so I think they're going to probably rest him at least another week. So yeah, Sutton going against Washington. Washington's giving up the second most DraftKings points to opposing wide receivers. Yeah, I like Sutton quite a bit. And then of course, I always got to talk about my man Ricky Seals. He just keeps getting it done. Ricky Seals Jones. He's 3,800. Just keeps getting it done week after week as a very valuable tight end. Not the best matchup in the world, but he's getting a ton of targets. So I think Seals Jones is a decent cheap option at tight end. But yeah, Cortland Sutton for the Broncos is really sticking out to me.
I'm glad I always do these shows with you, Brady, because you always put me on a couple of people that I never even would think about. And man, has Ricky Seal Jones has been profitable for us for the last 4 to 5 weeks since Logan Thomas has been hurt. Sharpie, what are you looking at this one from a prop perspective? Because me
Teddy
personally,
Bridge.
I'll be thinking if Ricky Seals Jones is at 3.5, get him hit the over.
Teddy Bridgewater owes me money from last week, guys. So we're gonna go back to over 1.5 touchdowns. It's plus 100. Over is a minus 120. So over is minus 120. Over 1.5. Like you said, Washington's the 32nd versus the pass, and they allow the most points in the NFL. So they're top 10 versus the rush. I expect them to be stout versus the rush. So yeah, over 1.5 touchdowns for the old Teddy man.
All right, let's get into our favorite play of the slate and convictional play of the slate. My favorite play of the slate for this week is going to be Darrell Henderson, and my conviction play of the slate is going to be Hunter Henry for me this week. I'll kick it over to Brady. What is your favorite play of the slate and your convictional play of the slate?
Pass. Come back to me.
All right, Sharpie, favorite prop preview that you're looking at for this weekend.
Gainwell, rush receiving over 67.5. Book it. Showing out party, guys. Put him in your DraftKings lineup. Thank Billy later. He turned me on to him like first week. So it's Gainwell time.
The preseason put me on Kenny Gainwell. I'm definitely going to be getting some Kenny Gainwell at low ownership. We're back to Brady in the Nike sweatshirt. Look at my man. He's looking like he just came out of the forest. We're looking hungry to make some money for this week. That's enough stalling time for you, Brady.
No, I got it. So my favorite play is going to be so many good. I'm gonna say Calvin Ridley, man. I'm gonna say he gets it done this week. What's the next one? Convictional play.
Convictional play. So whatever you're feeling, throw it out.
Nick Chubb there.
That is a good convictional play,
Yes.
Nick Chubb. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out and hit the bell notification so you get notified for all of our live videos on the channel. We have the soccer channel. I mean, not the soccer channel, the soccer video coming up at 7 o'clock. And then we have Maxwell's Top 25 Cupcake Countdown at 10 o'clock East Coast time. And then we have the UFC show tomorrow in the morning. But Brady, where can they find your content? And I got a little itch. I'm trying to bet some fights tomorrow in the morning. I heard there's a morning card. Where can I get some information?
Yep. Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. I'm about to post my bets within like the next 20 minutes, and I'm going live in about 20 minutes to cover the card. And then, you can follow me here as always on Pub Sports Radio. Me and Uncle Weezy are going live on Sunday to talk about UFC 268, another great card. Tuesday DraftKings show, and then here on Wednesdays and Fridays with you, Sharpie, and yeah, should be a fun weekend this weekend.
I'll miss you next Wednesday. Enjoy yourself over there in Nashville. El Sharpe, where can they find you at, and what do you got going on for the weekend?
Hey, if you're going to be in Nashville, my little brother lives out there and owns a little pizza spot. So, hey, should talk to you. So, yeah, let's get it. That's why we be pubbing. But y'all can find me at Sharpie's Bets on Twitter, Mr. Green Moon on Instagram, or your local bar, picking up your local BBWs the next morning. SeaWorld, baby, because you got to drop them off. Have a great day, fellas.